This video is going to consist of two parts because I just started reacting raw as I was walking around early in the morning and listening to awful coaching and everyone else's reactions to Bronny's 17 points. But then after that, I actually watched highlights of the game and realized it's even worse. Obviously, awful coaching wasn't alone in this exaggerated praise of Bronny James, but he does provide a great example of how if you just choose select plays, draw some arrows on the screen, and provide compliments, you can really influence the way people think. It's not just the over-the-top compliments for elementary basketball. It's also what he left out. And you don't find that on YouTube. You don't find any lowlights of Bronny James. I went to NBA.com and just watched his shot attempts as part of the box score in order to see all of his misses. The only other thing I referenced was the general highlight reel of the game, which accidentally exposes Bronny James. I wasn't even hunting for lowlights of Bronny James, but here he is playing miserable defense, exposed when they're trying to show highlights of other people scoring. Imagine how much worse this would be if I actually watched the entire game and just scoured to find anything about Bronny to criticize. This is just what's blaringly out there, and no one's talking about it.
Bronny James played awesome tonight.
What are we comparing to? The previous video that showed that Bronny just stood in the corner? Yeah, well, that's terrible. Doing something better than terrible is not the same thing as great.
What does Bronny James not do? Stand in the corner. His man instantly comes to help. I'm instantly cutting baseline. Instantly. We're not standing in the corner. Cutting. Layups. He can average 10 to 12 points a game just off of this in the NBA if he'll cut when his man steps up to help.
Who's that guarding him underneath? Who's that guarding him underneath? I know he cut, but he should not have gotten that shot off. He should not have gotten that shot off. I believe that's Andrew Soft Wiggins. The idea that you should be able to get 12 to 15 points a game relying on NBA players just being completely incompetent on defense says a lot about the NBA. But look how long it takes for Bronny to get this shot off. Wiggins has time to recover while Kuminga goes straight up. Look at this. He just looks at it. Bronny's like offering the ball. He like brings it way back. And Wiggins is just like, okay, come on. You can do it. You can do it. No one's going to block you. There you go, little guy. I mean, Kuminga has this side blocked off. Wiggins just has to try a tiny bit and block that from behind. Let's give a little credit to Shafino here too, because he's looking at the corner, making Wiggins think that Bronny is still in the corner. Now let's switch to a play that I found that awful coaching didn't include, because this is a play that awful coaching would usually go ballistic over. That's as bad of defense as you can imagine. That is just a complete and total mental checkout. It reminds me of LeBron. This happens to LeBron all the time. Oh, I'm thinking about my next promo. Oh shit, the guy went behind me. At least Bronny isn't blaming teammates for this yet. He will. He will. And Bronny got smoked on D all night long, but if you decide, after seeing that he scored 17 points, that you're going to do a Bronny promo, then you can't include these things. I know, I'm just hating on Bronny, or I'm hating on awful coaching. Look, awful coaching provides entertainment. What I want you to understand is that this video could easily, and actually more easily, be making fun of the Warriors' terrible defense and Bronny's terrible defense. So it's just how you want to spin the story. Honestly, there's just some atrocious defense here. And awful coaching sees that terrible defense. You just didn't get told about it this time. One thing is true. Looks like an immediate replication of how his dad gets points. Layups, layups, layups. Look just a couple of plays later when Bronny drops it off to somebody else. Two people go up and block that person. Nobody went up to block Bronny. They must have seen what happened to Kevin Durant. You're not allowed to block Bronny. Durant blocked Bronny so thoroughly that he used his elbow and his forearm. And it was so easy then he decided, maybe I'll just grab the ball. I mean, I got the block. After that, contact shouldn't matter. But it did. but it did. His hip touched him at some point. Anyone else or another era of basketball, and you're talking about how Kevin Durant humiliated that person with an elbow block. And this is what happens when you're only shown certain highlights. Here I am thinking that Bronny didn't get blocked. He got blocked a bunch. He even got blocked by the bottom of the rim or the bottom of the backboard or wherever he ended up throwing this ridiculous prayer. And he's complaining. He's already complaining. He's already got his hands in the exact same gesture that his dad does in the preseason. A rookie in the preseason. I went back and looked multiple times. Trace Jackson Davis blocks the shit out of him, and he blocks him clean. And I wanted to find other angles of it. Guess what? They're nowhere to be found. Of course they're not.
It's just amazing defense right here. Look at Bronny James close out right here aggressively on Buddy Hield, but we can't leave our feet. Buddy Hield, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Look at him close out aggressively without leaving his feet.
My God, he didn't leave his feet. Holy shit, he's acting like what we were taught in grade school.
In transition here. First of all, Bronny James does a great job. We got a mismatch.
Are you giving Bronny credit for the mismatch? How did Bronny cause the mismatch? Great job. Great job.
Trace Jackson Davis, the center, trying to guard me on the perimeter. So it's an easy blow-by. But what does Bronny James not try and do here? Great job on the blow-by, but multiple defenders step up and help. So we're not trying to finish in front of 4 different arms. Look at Bronny James. Wait for the cutter right here. Drop it off. 2-shot foul.
Look, I really don't like to nitpick a play that turned out well, but look what really happened. Bronny threw the ball directly to the guy in his direct line of sight, and then the guy had to go create a shot on the other side of the rim. It's not like the pass led directly to the 2-shot foul. I'm not even so sure that there was a foul.
Blow by my man, draw help, find the cutter, 2 shots. Offensively, Bronny's always a threat here.
This guy just say that Bronny is always a threat from here? Did he really just say that? Awful Coaching, your previous 5 videos screamed about how he was 0%. 0%. Now Bronny has moved up to 8% from 3, and he's always a threat from there? You realize that with this so-called great game, he's only managed to get his actual field goal percentage up to 29.7%, while the three-point shooting remains at 8.3%. Now, here's everything that Awful Coaching left out from that same game. Here are my highlights. This is what it looks like when you have permission to fail. $8 million, 4-year, guaranteed. Shoot it.
Offensively, Bronny's always a threat here.
This guy's as flip-floppy as Magic Johnson. And I know some people said, oh, Magic Johnson's always been disingenuous. He may be, but he also may have set the record for changing his tune in the shortest period of time. And may I remind people that he didn't even really say anything bad about Bronny when he got massacred for anything that was even close to criticism. And now he's turned around and given praise for scoring at the end of a game that the margin was 58 points. Has the whole world turned dumb? That's not even a fun question to ask anymore, because the answer is actually yes. There was a time where even people who didn't watch sports at least had the common sense to know that when you're being destroyed by a margin that big, what's happening doesn't matter anymore. How can you take those points seriously on any level? That's the weird thing about Magic. Do you think that Magic Johnson doesn't understand what I just said? And yet here he is coming out with this over-the-top compliment. Do you think Magic Johnson doesn't understand that those points were worthless and meaningless? Of course he knows. These are the actions of someone who got in trouble, someone who got scolded, someone who got threatened by the LeBron James mafia. Anyone who has an opinion worth listening to does not change their entire mind about a player based on one game, even if the circumstances weren't as ridiculous as I just described. Magic Johnson sounds like a politician or an evangelist who got caught red-handed with a bunch of hookers and has to come out with a statement. And he didn't even do anything wrong. His original statement on Bronny wasn't even wrong or mean. And here he is, like, making up for it. Damn, it's Sunday morning. It's 7 a.m., people.
Late shot clock situation. Jalen Hood-Schifino's going to blow by Jonathan Kuminga. Look at Bronny James right here. As Brandon Podziemski comes over to help, but we're not going to stand 5 steps from the three-point line. We got to be a threat. Get right to the tip of the three-point line. So I can either rip and go in the lane.
I just want to make sure I understand. We are complimenting somebody who is wide open for stepping into shooting position.
Situation. I'm right at the tip of the three-point line. Boom. Catch, shoot. Got to let it fly. Splash.
You are a 0% three-point shooter, so of course you have to let it fly. This guy went from screaming at him that he shouldn't be taking that shot to saying, splash.
Bronny James can be a very good NBA player if he keeps doing this stuff. Jalen Hood-Schifino again beats his man off the dribble. What does Bronny James not do? We're not standing on the wing right there. Podziemski's not paying attention to me. He's coming up to help. We're going to relocate to the corner right here. Look at that relocation to the corner. Now look at Podziemski.
This is a little bit complicated because some of the compliments that Awful Coaching is giving aren't wrong. But what are we complimenting? Like this one. Wow, look at him. He moves to the open shooting space. What, are we complimenting a 2-year-old? Wow, look, he's aware that this is a better spot to move to for an open shot. Oh my God, are we going to start talking about the IQ? Bronny James has his father's basketball IQ. They're both savants. It runs in the family. They know that when there's a defender, it's better to move to where there is not a defender. Can we also recognize that there's a reason when people are left wide open, kind of like Dad? Can we recognize that Podziemski is busy guarding actual threats, but by duty, he has to run over and at least contest the shot, but he's clearly really far away. These are highlights. This is a highlight reel.
He's closeout. You have no chance of closing out here. Easily get him in the air, pump and go drive, and a nice little floater right at the end of the half.
I compliment that floater. Okay, that was the right move. That was good. But it proves that Awful Coaching is incorrect by saying that there's no way to close out. He did close out, and as he was trying to close out, that gave him the opportunity to step in for a closer shot. And it was the right move. There, I recognize that. I guess that's what $8 million will get you.
Bronny James again, easily creating offense for himself away from the ball.
It's funny how creating offense looks like on-court load management. It's not just Bronny. This is just the way basketball is now.
The Warriors are in drop coverage off this pick and roll, so Andrew Wiggins has to step up and backside help on Jackson Hayes' roll. DeAnthony Melton's going to X out to the corner, but we're Bronny James. We've only made 1 3 all preseason. That does not mean we can't be extremely effective.
Or, if we rewind to 1 minute ago.
Offensively, Bronny's always a threat here.
Or go back 1 game ago, during which he was explaining to us exactly why Bronny shouldn't be opting for the 3-ball.
Bronny James is a 0% three-point shooter in preseason. 0%. There is a reason Draymond Green is standing in the paint right now. You can't shoot. You don't shoot 1% from 3. You shoot 0% from 3.
Next game against the Warriors.
Offensively, Bronny's always a threat here.
Pick whichever narrative you want. But can we also recognize and pick whichever one you want here, choose whichever angle you want to go with this, that the NBA's defense is just atrocious, or nobody cares about Bronny over there in the corner? You know, which is it? So again, we have someone come flying over there to try and close out too late, and I compliment Bronny. He does what I think is the right thing. He lets the defender go by, takes a step, and makes a closer shot. Good job.
This is just high-level basketball in transition right here.
Yeah, some of the compliments are just over the top. He says elite, the high level in this case. Come on.
So now on the 3-on-2 right here, Moses Moody and Andrew Wiggins, nobody collapses on the ball.
A millisecond later, both of them collapse on the ball, rendering Awful Coach's take moot. Unfortunately, like so often happens in the NBA these days, especially when you're defending a James, they don't really do anything. They sort of collapse, but then also don't stop him. So Bronny gets away with this, but it's terrible. Look how open his other teammates are when he decides to take the ball through two defenders.
Play to the corner. So Bronny James says, okay, I'm going to take this coast to coast, lay it in.
I'm going to spend some time on this one because it's a great example of how the narrator can sway you. If Bronny had missed this, imagine the opportunity to annihilate him when you've got two guys ready for the three ball. As much as I like basketball in the paint, the reality is that's not the NBA anymore. The NBA is about shooting open three-pointers. I mean, the NBA is about passing to open three-pointers, even when you have an open lane. In this case, he has a collapsed lane. No one could possibly get to his two teammates, and he still takes it and gets complimented for it. I'm just saying, imagine if he misses. Was it the right decision or was it not the right decision? It can't be the right decision based on whether or not it works out. It has to just be the right decision. Sometimes the right decision doesn't work out. This is the wrong decision, and it did work out.
This is awesome basketball. This is great. Bronny James can have a 15-year NBA career if he continues to do this.
Awful Coaching says Bronny James can have a 15-year career from doing just this. What, standing? Standing? His dad proved that you can have a 22-year career doing that. So the big compliment here is that Bronny moves into a wide open lane and the defender looks like he has a brain aneurysm.
Bronny James, as soon as he sees DeAnthony Melton rotate down to the corner, we're going to cut. We're going to get in the paint right here. Look at that. And now he's in the paint. Even though he misses this floater, you take the defender away, so now Jackson Hayes can just clean this up for an easy two.
Again, what are we complimenting? Wide open lanes, crap defense, someone moves into that wide open lane and misses the shot and gets a compliment. By the way, this is not about pulling the defender away. Jackson Hayes still has two guys on him. Even if he had three, all three of them are still too short because it's the Warriors. Jackson Hayes is a 7-footer playing against a team that has a policy against bringing in tall players.
That's all off Bronny James's cut.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Bronny James moves into an open lane, misses the shot. Jackson Hayes does a great job getting the rebound and putting up the putback point, and it's because of Bronny James. The score is 75-52 at that point in time.
James can get 6 to 8 points in transition if he just sprints in transition and runs his lane. Look at Bronny James here, sprinting, running your lane.
If that's sprinting, I'm as fast as Bronny James.
Defender steps up to help on the ball. I'm sprinting. I'm running my lane. Lob it for two.
Again, getting compliments for the same BS that his dad gets compliments for. Nobody tries to stop him. Nobody contests the alley-oop. I don't know who these guys for the Warriors are, but they look very, very confused by the basketball court. Bronny puts the ball through the cylinder at point-blank range without anyone trying to stop him, and you're excited about it. Two things here. First, let me show you the shot chart. Way better than his dad's range, but are they fibbing? Because this was clearly at the rim. They didn't even mark that on here. Are they showing that his shots were from further out than they were? Where are those two baseline layups and the alley-oop dunk we just saw? This is not accurate. Secondly, as great as a uncontested alley-oop is, how are you not trashing these two defenders? I mean, prime opportunity to be trashing the defenders. They did nothing. They chose not to do anything. They literally didn't do anything. They might as well have been an escort service for Bronny.
This is elite basketball right here.
Here we go. This better be the most amazing basketball play I've ever seen.
Going to drop the ball off to Colin Castleton. Look at him fake coming off this handoff right here. But look at how tight he comes off Colin Castleton right here.
Okay, his voice is starting to bug me, so I'll walk you through this. He uses his teammate's body as a screen to get away from his defender and make a layup. That's elite basketball. Stop it! And then he compliments the hell out of Bronny on this one, when in reality, it is a dog trash pass. Just a dog trash pass. Holy crap, dude. Come on. That incompetent Warrior threw him the ball. Did you have to, go do a few lines of coke to get excited to compliment Bronny James on that one? Can I interrupt this absurdity just for a moment to say the score is 109-64? Let's go back to one of my clips. There's Bronny getting cooked, but the question is, what's Bronny doing over there? What's he doing over there? So then he goes running down, and it's just way too late. For the next one, I'll trash Magic Johnson's quote instead of awful coaching. Let's take a look at that again. There's Bronny, just lost. Where's the person that you should be guarding, Bronny? That guy in the corner. Now, as Bronny realizes the mistake, instead of rushing over to contest that shot, he has given up. He's like, crap. Oh, well, no sense in trying anymore. Let me read Magic's quote. A high basketball IQ and a competitive spirit that makes him a tenacious defender. Except when he doesn't feel like it.
Bronny James offensively is just doing everything right here. The Warriors are again in drop coverage. The ball handler comes off the ball screen right here. Bronny's man has to step up and take the ball. So what does Bronny James do? We're always getting in the lane, not hesitating. Catch this pass.
Okay, not only is this entire take on this play bad, but he's literally hesitating while you're talking about him not hesitating.
Get in the lane. Look at this. Draw the defender. And again, we're not trying to finish in front of two different bodies. That help's coming up. Just wait for the cutter. The help's coming from somewhere. Someone's going to be wide open.
Okay, there are two people on Bronny, and there are two people on the cutter. Nobody's wide open. And you're complimenting Bronny that he didn't try and take this shot? This is what we're reduced to? Complimenting him for not trying to take this shot? Dude, go look at yourself in the mirror. Look at this play that you're complimenting.
Wait for the cutter. Beautiful pass.
Beautiful pass. Not only was it deflected, it wasn't attractive in the first place.
Describe the ways in which you find him attractive.
He's got all of his skin
Well,
still.
I hope so.
And that he has plenty of teeth to
But not
get.
all of them.
No, not all of them.
Got it. Beautiful.
Right here, that collapses the defense and leads to an easy Colin Castleton bucket.
Got it. Bronny's plan all along was to have his pass deflected. Then when his team managed to come up with the ball, have that guy pass the ball to the other guy. He just saw it several plays ahead of us. We're the dumb ones.
We're attacking downhill. 4-5 solid dribbles downhill.
Spoiler alert, it ends up being 2 dribbles and a bad decision to try and shoot over a 7-footer.
Make that big have to make. Does he commit to the ball? Does he commit to Colin Castleton? We're not picking our dribble up until we figure that out. So that the big never commits anywhere. Cool. So we'll just take this up right to the rim and a 2-shot foul.
That entire speech by awful coaching was complete and utter rubbish. It's not even what was happening on the screen. It wasn't 5 dribbles. It was 2 dribbles that he picked up too early. The big man did commit, leaving Bronny, who has already left his feet after 2 dribbles, having to try and shoot over the 7-footer. He did commit, and Bronny made a bad choice and got bailed out by a BS call. But I tell you what, if you're auditioning to get a job commenting on NBA games, you are on your way. Say what isn't happening on the screen and compliment the James family. Guys, this is exhausting. I could go on forever. I think you get it. If you didn't watch the teaser I did, go and watch that one. That just shows a few of the plays that awful coaching chose not to include. And it's a tiny taste of the reality of Bronny James. And again, I don't have any reason personally to dislike Bronny James, although I'm starting to get pretty pissed off about what happened to Quincy. That's pretty heartbreaking. But again, you play the blame game. Well, it's not actually Bronny's fault, right? No, but maybe it's the fault of all the people that are happy telling lies and misleading the general public.